ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. However, I think my main man is on the line. T-Boz, are you there? Oh, my God. He's here.
Good morning. And I know everyone's coming in and the lights are off. And I know that. Come on in. George by the door. Look at him in a red sweater. Stan, the coffee man, in green and red. I know that because the lights were on when I came in here. I just want to say something very quickly before we turn the lights on. I want to thank Jock Williams. I know he has some stuff. We all have stuff. And he's got some stuff. And he said to me yesterday, Boz, I'll be there for you. And I told him this off air, and I'm going to say it on the air. I love Jock Williams like a brother. And the town of Torrington is so beneficial that he left Ohio. If Ohio wants him back, they ain't getting him. And he's here this morning for not me so much the show, but for all of you. And it wasn't easy for him to be here today. And I love Jock Williams like a brother. And I'll tell you something. We come from two totally walks of life. Jock is African-American, grew up military. I grew up in Long Island. I'm Italian descent. I'm a nutcase because I'm from New York. Okay?
Tell me about that in my mailbox.
Different, very different ethnic background, different political views. But at the end of the day, we have the same vision for Torrington and for people. And I'm going to encourage all of you this Christmas to love people that are not exactly like you. Boom. Because your life will be made better. This show, my life, all of it, Jock Williams has had a tremendous contribution to that. And that's why I'm going to have him sing a couple of songs at the wedding. So anyway, but I just want to thank him again and to share with the audience how I feel about him. So with that, George by the door is ready with the big toggle switch over there. Ready, George? Hit it. Oh, wow. George, you outdid yourself. Those of you listening on air, Zoom, those of you in the classroom, boy, everybody's in. No late stragglers, George. 15-foot tree. Is that real? It is. Wow, with all white snowflakes on it and silver ornaments. It looks beautiful. Look over here, candy canes and a big Santa face. And, of course, right here in the corner, what a beautiful nativity. This is gorgeous what you have here, George. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And what is that? Anyway, I don't know. But what I hear sounds outside the classroom. But what a beautiful job you did, George, in decorating the studio. It looks amazing, amazing, amazing. The classroom looks wonderful. We want to thank you, George, from the bottom of our heart. You did an awesome job. And everyone enjoy these beautiful decorations for the month of Christmas. And then the menorah, I'm sorry, is over here on the other side of the room. Wonderful job. Thank you, George. Let's get over to Stan, the coffee man, who's been missed for a little while. And what do we have in the coffee pot today, Stan? Fraser Fir Medium Blend. Fraser Fir, that's a tree, isn't it? Yes, it is. And what do we have there? Oh, and that's by the Tim Horton Coffee Company. Tim Horton was a hockey player from Canada. And Lady Diane and I enjoy Tim Horton. That's great. And Pine Fresh Hazelnut Decaf. Oh, it smells wonderful. Those of you listening on the radio and watching via Zoom, you got to come over here and smell this stuff and see these great decorations. And who are our sponsors today, Stan? St. John Paul the Great Catholic School, the Academy. And all these cookies are all made by the students. They're wonderful gingerbread men and candy canes and snowmen. These are the sugar cookies with the, and here's my favorite. It's the Santa face with the red hat, right? That's sugar, right, guys? Sugar. And then the frosting for the beard. Oh. Now, Stan, when you were a kid, did you eat the hat first or the beard? The hat. George? The hat. I ate the beard. Guys, go back in time when you were a kid and Mom made those Santa cookies with the white frosting for the beard and the little eyes and the red hat. we want to thank all the students of St. John Paul Academy Catholic School for contributing to the dessert table. What a wonderful, wonderful suggestion, and we appreciate that. So let's get into our topic. I've missed you guys. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Patience, humility, and kindness. It's a 3-topic show. I'm going to squeeze it all in before the end. And it's because about 2 weeks ago, humble does the talks about being a better you. I'm human. Okay? I'm human. I failed. And I was upset. People, I wanted to. That's human nature. We're all sinners, right? But what I did was I didn't walk away from the God that loves me. And I walked back and I said, I need help. I need to readjust my attitude. It's okay to be angry when someone you love has had something bad happen to them. And I didn't act out my anger, but to get in a tirade, boys and girls, is not good. And I recognize my fault. So I thought bringing this up would maybe help all of you, because I know all of you, the lady in the back shaking her head no, I know all of you have been angry at times, and I think it's important to readjust, especially as we enter the holiday season, the Christmas season, to work on kindness, humility, and patience. Okay, these are things that really with the Christmas spirit and Hanukkah and all of the other Kwanzaa and all the different holidays we have, that's really the core. Okay, we may celebrate a little bit differently, but the core is to be a better person. So I'm going to shine the light on myself and thereby maybe helping people in the classroom here and at home to work on these things so that we can create a better us. So let's start with Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29, and it says, let no corrupt talk come out of your mouths, but rather what is said to build people up. Boom. First boom out of the box. Do not let corrupt things come out of your mouth. And that's what came out of my mouth. And doesn't that get us? Don't we, when we get angry, rather than find peace, we start to say things, okay? We start to feel things. And if you're shaking your head no, then you're not human. All right? And so Ephesians, the letter to the Ephesians tells us to say words that build people up. Get all the evidence that you need. Get the information that you need before you start condemning people. Okay, so that was something I failed at. My mouth was running quicker than my head. And ask Lady Diana, my head runs pretty fast. An unknown person says this, as we change ourselves, the world around us changes too. Wow. Isn't that, we think that, right, you hear people say, they're pointing, the world's a rotten place, the world's a better place in 1960, wrong. As we change, as we improve, as we correct the wrongs that we have, then guess what? All of a sudden, the world around us begins to change. The people, as we become kinder, as we become more humble, more patient, all of a sudden, the people around us begin to adopt that same type of mindset. It's about us. It's not them. There is no them. There is no they. You know who the them and the they are? Us. I love what Barack Obama said years ago. We are the change that they have been waiting for. We, you in the back there. I don't know what your name is. Robert, you, Madeline. Right, she's here every week. We are the change. We can make a better place, but we've got to work with our ability to be kind, to be patient, and to be humble. So we're going to start with humility as the first one of the trifecta. We're going to start with St. Augustine, who was born November 13th, same day as my grandmother, and he was born in 354 A.D., and no, I wasn't in high school then. So St. Augustine says this, it was pride that turned angels into devils, and it is humility that turns men into angels. Boom. What is Augustine talking about? Lucifer, one of the great angels along with Gabriel, okay? Michael the Archangel. But Lucifer had pride. He had a better idea like Ford. He wanted to be God, and he fell from grace, and he became the devil. So what St. Augustine says is pride, not being proud in your country, not being proud of Torrington or the football team you were on as a kid, but pride, that's selfish, that's all about me. I'm the guy. I'm it. I got news for all of you. You're not it. What St. Augustine is talking about here is pride turned an angel into a devil, but humility turned men into angels. And what we're going to talk about at the end on next week's show clarifies that. C.S. Lewis, once an atheist, and then he became an evangelical Christian and ended up being Catholic, says this: humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. Bing, bang, boom. What do we all think about most of the time? Ourselves, our problems, our aches, our pains, our mortgage, our this. C.S. Lewis says humility. The word humility comes from the word humus, which means earth. What humility really means is not that you're a doormat, but that you are down to earth. You are real. Some of us are so busy with what they call us at work or what position we have in the town that we begin to think that that's us. Wrong. C.S. Lewis says humility is not thinking about you, but thinking about others. So we go right back to Ephesians, do not let corruptions come out of your mouth, and right back to the anonymous person who says that the world changes when we change. It's all about us. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, a great man is always willing to be little. Boom. Right? We don't want to be little. We don't want to be small. We want to be the one. One of the best sayings I ever heard is, I'd rather be happy than right. And as we head into the holiday season, we're going to be around that table, we're going to be around that tree, and we're going to get into conversations. Boys and girls, let me give you a little advice. Be happy instead of right. No one ever wins an argument. Let people have the opinions they have. I'd rather be happy than right. And my friend Susan next door has a great saying in terms of humility. She says, I never attend the fight that I'm invited to. Wow. Right? We get lured in. We get lured in at work. We get lured in at the dinner table. But you don't have to attend if you're humble. All right? You can let people be who they want to be. What I love about my relationship with Diana is that we're together, but we have an individuality. We're strong enough in what we have that we can be ourselves and we can love each other as each other. We're not cloning each other. That's not what a relationship is. So, Ralph Waldo Emerson, okay? A man to be little. Colossians, before we hit the break, Colossians chapter 3, verse 11 to 12 says, therefore, clothe yourself with humility. Love what St. Paul says there. This is all New Testament for those of you who are following. Imagine that. Think of humility as a jacket, as a robe. Because when you put something on you, people can see it, right? Oh, wow, I like that coat. Oh, you look really nice in that sport jacket. So clothe yourself in humility so other people can see it. And then when it's around you, what does the coat do? It makes you feel warm, right? Makes you feel protected. Well, when you clothe yourself in humility, just like it said about changing ourselves, you become humble as well. You cannot give something that you don't own. If you're not humble, if you're not kind or patient, you can't give it to other people. You can't expect it from them. When you have to give that gift from within. From within. So it's 11:28. Jacques, why don't we hit the sponsors right now so we can move into the topic of patience. How's that, Mr.
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Feel Good Show. We want to take this opportunity to thank all of our sponsors for allowing us to bring you the quality community radio programming that we're doing at this time. We also want to remind you that each and every Thursday on The Feel Good Show, it's local and live. If you're a business, artist, person of interest, and you want to blast off to the community to let everyone know what you're doing, what you're up to, and what you're all about, then indeed Thursdays is your day to make it happen right here at your local community radio station, WAPJ Torrington. And with that said, we'll turn the show back over to T-Boz for more words of wisdom and moments of meditation.
Thank you, Jock. And if you have time after the program, please come over and see what George did over here. This tree, and I hope maybe you can sing a couple of Christmas songs when you come over. This tree is absolutely amazing. I don't know how he got it in here. I think James helped him and Chris Campfield and some of those guys, but amazing. So try to make time when you're done. I know you have a busy schedule. Edmund Burke. He was an Anglican Irishman, a conservative, born in 1729. He died in 1797. He says this about patience. Our patience will achieve more than our force. Boom. Our patience will achieve more than our force. So my question to all of you this coming year, this holiday season, what are you going to show at the Christmas table? Your patience or force? You know, Jesus grabbed 12 bums. They were fishermen. And to be a fisherman, you have to be patient. You have to sit and wait and wait and wait. Cast the net, as they would do. Cast the net again, trying to catch fish. He said to the apostles when he grabbed them, I'll make you fishers of men. Patient. He didn't say I'll make you warriors of men. He said he didn't say I'm going to make you military of men. He said I will make you fishers of men. Patience. That's what he said to a bunch of guys who couldn't read and write and smelled like fish. We talk about this all the time on the show. A bunch of trades guys, dirty, smelly men, regular men. But I'll make you fishers of men. And those 12 men went out and changed the world. So are you going to be a fisherman or are you going to be forced? You want people to come to you? Be patient. A Somali proverb says, patience attracts happiness. It brings near that which is far. So the things that you want near you, the people, the cosmos, if you will. I know we have people in the audience listening and in the classroom. Not everyone is Christian here. All are welcome, right, George? But patience, what is far, and happiness, the things that you want in your life, the goodness, patience will bring those near instead of them being over there. Sometimes you look at other people and say, wow, looks like they have a great life. Well, maybe they're practicing humility and patience. So they're bringing the things that are far, the good things in life, not possessions, the good things in life, the people, we're going to talk about that toward the end. It brings it near instead of being far. Leo Tolstoy says this, the two most powerful warriors, are patience and time. Patience and time. Things we don't want, things that I didn't do with this situation that happened to us. The last thing I was doing was time. The last thing I was doing was patience. I was ready to go out there and climb up a tree and start screaming. All right, I'm Italian. I'm emotional. I'm from New York. I spet, but that's the way I am. But the way I am doesn't mean the way I stay. The way I am, as it says, as I change, the world changes around me. Even at 67 years old, I'm a work in progress. So I'm shining the light on me. I'm fault person, just like the rest of us. Okay? But patience and time. You know, when you want to grow bamboo, when you have bamboo, you water that spot where the bamboo is. It takes 5 years for the bamboo to come through the ground. But once it comes through the ground, it shoots up to over 100 feet. Strong as you can imagine. So some of you have had bamboo furniture and whatnot, right? But you got to be patient. A farmer has to wait 5 years for that fruitfulness. So patience and time with your daughter, with your son, with your son-in-law, with your daughter again. Some people know that they have things there. With your husband, with your spouse, with your fiance, with the coworker. If they're not turning around as quickly as you want them to, so what? Patience and time. Give them the time like the bamboo. Be like a fisherman. Be like a gardener. A gardener doesn't have a tomato as soon as he puts a plant in the ground. You got to wait 12 weeks or 13 weeks for it. Or like bulbs, right? You like those beautiful daffodils in the spring, but you got to put them in the ground now and you have to have 13 weeks of cold. Patience and time will bring that grandson back, will bring that healing in that divorced family. You got to give it time. But we don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted retribution now. We look at Romans chapter 12, verse 15, and it says, rejoice with those that rejoice and weep with those that weep. What is Romans saying there? What does St. Paul say? Be with the people. Patience. When they're joyful, be joyful. When they're weeping, don't abandon them. Be patient with them. Like all of the people who know who they are were very patient with me, including the beautiful Lady Diana. They're very patient. Weeks we talked about a situation. Weeks. Patience and time. And then love grew from that. So Paul is right. Rejoice when people are rejoicing, and then weep when they weep. When they're weeping, they're upset, things aren't going right. Don't tell them, you know what? That's not you. You should be over here. You're not. When I was your age, nah. People don't want to hear that. Be with them. Listen to them. Weep with them. We look at kindness now. We move into the topic of kindness. And there's a statement that says, kindness is the language the deaf hear and the blind see. Wow. Kindness. Simple act of kindness. My friend Tommy told me he was at Christie's a few weeks ago. He and his wife, Carmi, his beautiful wife, Carmi, I think they're married 62 years. God bless them. They were having dinner, and this young man came up and said, I took care of your dinner. He didn't know them. And he was a welder. He said, I did very well in life. You know, he was maybe in his 60s, Tommy said. But he saw a couple that were in love and having dinner. Maybe they reminded him of his parents or grandparents. Nobody knows. He didn't mention it, but he paid for their dinner. Random act of kindness. Kindness is like a boomerang. You throw it out there, it comes back. But we've been brainwashed not to be kind. We've been brainwashed to be vindictive. Okay, we got to get out there. We got to get ours. We got to get even. That's how I felt a couple of weeks ago, right? Ask my friend Barbara. There wasn't any kind words coming out of my mouth. I lashed out at a whole group of people. A whole group of people I blamed for the situation that happened, and I had no clue. I was angry. I was upset. But what I should have done is I should have prayed on it and said, okay, Lord, guide my emotions so I can get through this situation rather than just stirring up more dirt, right? But I've learned, and that's why I want to share this with all of you. So kindness is the language that the deaf hear and the blind see. Cahill Gilbran says this about kindness. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the greatest intention. Boom. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I say this all the time on this show. Someday is not a date on the calendar. Too many of us make that phone call after your friend went to the doctor. Make that phone call when someone has something bad happen in their life. Make that phone call when someone's in a new relationship and they're happy. Make that phone call when someone has a new child. We have become a people that just think we're going to catch up on Facebook. There's nothing better than getting an actual card or a phone call from someone when they're in need. An act of smallest act of kindness. People, the road to hell, like I said, it's paid with good intentions. Oh, I meant to do this, but, then I had to go to work. I meant to do that, but then, I had to shovel the snow. So what? Oy vey, we put so many things in front of the people we love. And then when they die, we stand there with these eulogies and talk about what a great person they were. But did we ever make the time to spend time with them when they really needed it? I have a friend who lost a very good friend, 34 years. She's sad that friend is gone. But she did a heck of a lot with that woman over 34 years. So she misses the person, but she doesn't have any regrets. Smallest act of kindness. It doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to put a hospital wing on. Call somebody. Hold somebody's hand. Buy them a coffee like Bill Lauder did for me 10 years ago and led to a ton of friends that came out of that cup of coffee. Smallest act of kindness. Edith Wharton, okay, she was a writer and a designer. You got to go see her house up in Stockbridge. Beautiful. They built the house in under a year in 1902. Those of you in the trades, you got to go up there. She was born in 1862. She died in 1937. Her books are in all the libraries. She says this about kindness. There are two ways of spreading the light. You could either be the candle or you could be the mirror. So my question to all of us, myself included, this holiday season, when we're sitting at, again, that table, are we going to be the candle or will we equally be the mirror? Are we going to block the light? Are we going to be the darkness? Are we going to be what St. Augustine says, the angel that pride turned into a devil? What are we going to be? It's our choice. Like Father Dave tells me all the time, the choice you make makes you. What choice are we going to make this holiday season? Are we going to be what Edith Wharton says? Are we going to be the candle or the mirror? Or are we going to choose the darkness? Are we going to choose something because someone doesn't look and talk like us and think like us, that we're not going to extend kindness to them? So we're going to put up that plywood and say, boom, I'm on the other side. You eat your spaghetti on that side. Are we going to be the candle or are we going to be the mirror? You can reflect the light or you can be the light. And we're going to talk in a couple of minutes about a child that came into this world and lit up the world, got rid of the darkness, brought hope and love into a world that greatly needed it. We look at Galatians again, chapter 5, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, patience, and kindness. The fruit of the Spirit. So a lot of us say, I love Jesus. I believe. The Bible says. But the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, if you really have that Spirit, then the fruit on your tree will be love. It'll be kindness. It'll be humility. The fruit on my tree when that situation happened was all dead branches. Yeah, me, front pew, Catholic, with all dead branches. But I went back to the crib. I went back to the babe in the crib. And I asked forgiveness and I asked for guidance. But the fruit of the Spirit is patience, love, and humility. So if your spirit doesn't have that fruit on the end, then you need to go back to Love 101. You need to go back and readjust. We look at Peter, St. Peter, chapter 3, verse 9, and it says, do not repay evil with evil, reviling with reviling. It doesn't say try not to repay evil with evil. It doesn't say do your best not to pay evil with evil. It says in Scripture, do not repay evil with evil. But what do we want to do? What did I want to do? I wanted to go out and do the same thing that was done to us. Bad, bad, bad. Bing, bang, boom. But that's what happens when you're human. Okay? But again, I didn't act on it. I said a lot of things. But do not repay evil with evil. That's exactly what it says here in Scripture, but that's not what we do. That's why we have wars. That's why we have the Ukraine. Okay? That's why we have the problems we have, because some of us think the answer to fixing things is killing people. And it's not. If we had more humility, we had more kindness, more patience, guess what? The world would be a better place. And you don't have to wait to die to go to heaven. The kingdom of God is at hand, Jesus said. It's right here in front of you. And what is that kingdom? What are the keys to that kingdom? Humility, kindness, and patience. Big bang, boom. You have the key. Change, and the world changed around you. Do not say words of corruption. We look at Luke. Where'd you go? Okay, Luke chapter 12, verse 5. One's life does not consist of possessions. What does our life consist of? Just what I just said. The ability to be humble, kind, and patient. We put way too much emphasis on stuff. What did they say when John D. Rockefeller died? He was the richest man in the world at the time. When he died, his lawyers, they said, "What did he leave? What did he leave?" And his lawyers said, "He left everything. He left everything. All those possessions just stayed behind." So what is your humility? What is your kindness? What is your patience? That's how you're going to be remembered. That's what's important, not what's in the driveway. So the spirit of Christmas then is what? Is that Jesus is born into our poverty. He is born into poverty. And what poverty is that? Our poverty. Our poverty. What are you talking about, T-Boz? I have a house. I have a car. You're poor. You're spiritually poor if you're not practicing, like I was, humility, kindness, and patience. He was born into poverty. You know why? To let the world know that the marginalized, the sick, the dying, the elderly, the crippled, the disabled matter. That's why he was born into that scummy barn. He was born into our poverty of only thinking of ourselves. What C.S. Lewis says, humility is not thinking less, but thinking of ourselves less. And here's a person we're going to talk about next week, the incarnation. And it's going to be a kind of a religious show. So some of you who may not, like that type of thing, I'm just letting you know ahead of time. But Jesus comes in. And if you talk about someone who is humble, patient, and kind, there's your guy. Whether you want to think that he's the Messiah or not, you can look at his life and say, I can take something from that. But he was born into our poverty because he saw what was lacking. And in the incarnation, which we'll talk about it last night, everything that was lacking in us has been saved. And we'll get into that deeper next week. Let's get to our takeaway. It's by Anne Frank, and it kind of wraps up everything we're saying today. And she says, and this woman, as everyone knows, was in the Holocaust. And, if you want to see hell, boys and girls, if you want to see absolute what happens when you are not kind and pride and have humility, go to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. You'll walk out of there in tears. What those poor people endured, that was hell on earth. But the kingdom of earth is at hand because we can change those things by being kind. So when you're kind, you're not prejudiced. When you're kind, you're not jealous, right? When you're kind, you're not envious. So Anne Frank says, in spite of everything, I, meaning her, I still believe people are really good at heart. Boom, boom, boom. Here's a woman in a concentration camp who saw hell right at her fingertips and saying that people are really good at heart. She's probably talking about the Nazis. Could you imagine that? Are we that big? Are we that rather be happy than right? Are we that big that we can be that small? The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Anne Frank sums up in her quote, kindness, patience, and humility. She wove all of those into that statement. And she died just 2 weeks before the British allies and the Americans liberated and got it. 2 weeks! She died. But she died knowing that at heart, people are still good. I don't know if I'm that big, but I can try. I can walk forward. I can believe in the incarnation. I can try to be that little. I can try. And I will succeed over time because I'm a work in progress. So, Christmas is a time for a gift. You're the gift, not the box, not Amazon. All of you in the classroom, all of you listening on the radio, all of you watching on Zoom and streaming, wherever you are the gift. Listen to the song right after I get done here and Jock spins it. You are the gift. You're not going to find Christmas under the tree. You're not going to find it at a play. You're not going to find it at a concert. It's not going to be at Rockefeller Center. It's not anywhere where you think it is. Christmas is in you. The spirit, the fruit on the tree. You're the gift. You're the gift. And you can be that gift and that love for years and years to come. Even after, like this woman who passed away, a friend of mine, her love and her gift is going to go on forever through her children, grandchildren, and the people's lives that she touched. You're the gift. You're the spirit. Use it well. I want to thank you all for listening. It is Friday Eve. The sun is out. The snow looks beautiful. And I will be back next week. And thank you again, Jock. So spin the vinyl. Turn this song up. It's not a dancing song, but it's a song that listen to and take the words to heart. Merry Christmas. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.